Hi guys, welcome back. Rav's in the shack again. My name's Rav and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, or the woodturning section of it. In these videos we've been looking at various tools I use in a little bit more depth. Okay, so in this video I'd like to do a video regarding these particular tools. These tools are the woodcut tools from New Zealand. Now take a look at them. Can you see anything different about them? See anything different? It should be fairly obvious. Look at the flute. Not very long, is it? Doesn't come all the way down here. And that's because on these gouges the tips are replaceable. You actually glue these tips on, and yes, I thought exactly the same as what you're thinking now. Glue them on, that'll not be strong enough, but I can assure you it is. So anyway, let's get started on them. I've got 4 bowl gouges. This is the 3/4 inch and it goes right down to the 1/4 inch. But let's get back to the actual tips. The triple tempered, very high quality. They hold a brilliant edge. They really are a good quality cutting tool. But the most interesting thing about them, feature about them, is that they glue on to the shaft. Now when I say glue on, it's a special glue that's used. It's called an anaerobic glue, and basically the glue only cures in the absence of oxygen. So basically what you do is, inside here on this shaft there's a spigot, okay, and these tips then fit onto that spigot. You put glue all over them, then you put the tip onto this spigot and you hold it there. In fact, I got a piece of wood and put it up against a piece of wood on a wall and leant up against it for about 10 minutes. That's what I did. I applied pressure for about 10 minutes and then you leave them stood up overnight, and when you come back in the morning the glue has cured. And believe me, these things aren't coming off unless you want them to come off. I thought for sure, under the stresses and strains of wood turning, that these things would pop off, but believe me, they don't. I've been using them for over 12 months now, and there's no cracks appeared on the glue line or nothing. I really have checked them very heavily, and the tips aren't coming off. The way you get them off is to apply heat with a blowtorch on a low heat setting, or a paint stripping, you know, an electric paint stripping gun. You apply heat, that breaks down the glue, they then pop off. You then get a wire brush or whatever, back on the spigot, clean the spigot up, get your new replacement tip and do the same again. Apply glue, put them on, apply pressure and leave them stood up overnight. Now you're probably looking at the flute and you're thinking, those will not last very long. Well, in actual fact, the woodcut says that they should last around 2 years. 2 to 3 years, they say. Now, if you're a professional turner, I would imagine it's going to be nearer to 2 years. But if you're an amateur turner like me, it's probably going to be closer to 3 or maybe 4 years even. I've been using these for approximately, well, it's in excess of 12 months. I would say going on for 18 months actually, but it's definitely over 12 months. And there's plenty of flute left. You know, I bet I haven't took, what, a couple of millimetre off that flute. There's plenty of meat still left there, so. But another advantage of them is that with no flute coming down, this is stiffer. This is solid steel. Okay? You can put this thing over your, you know, on your tool rest, and this thing ain't gonna flex. Or it's gonna flex a lot less than a normal tool would with a flute coming down, because obviously you've got more metal, you know, you've got more strength. So that's the big advantage. Now, I don't use these tools for, you know, everyday turning. I use them for doing finishing cuts. Okay, that's all I use them for. And my thinking is that with them being stronger, they should provide an even better finishing cut. And I must admit that has actually lived up. You know, it is true. They provide a brilliant finishing cut. So that's what I use them for. As I say, they come. I mean, that's a bit of a beast of a. If you could feel the weight of this thing, it's amazing. Solid steel. That's the 3/4 inch one. Real workman-like gouges that. That's the 3/4 inch one. Okay. Here we have the 5/8, which would probably be your most used one. The flute's a little bit longer, as you can see on this. Maybe they thought 5/8 is probably going to be used more than 3/4 inch, and that's why they've put a bit more flute on it. That's the 5/8 one. Here's the 1/2 inch one. Even this, you know, even this thing's, you know, it's stiff as a, really stiff. There's no play in it whatsoever. That's the 1/2 inch one. And then to finish off with, we have the little 1/4 inch one. Okay, which is, compared to a normal 1/4 inch ball gouge, this thing is way stiffer. Of all the gouges, this is the one that you can feel the difference in most. It's a lot stiffer than a standard 1/4 inch ball gouge. You really can feel the difference. But they really do provide excellent finishing cuts. Now, you know, I mean, they're designed to be used as your everyday ball gouge, and no doubt they work fantastically well at that, but I just use them for finishing cuts. You know, that last cut before you start sanding, and they work fantastically well for that. You can buy them unhandled if you want to make your own handles. I bought them handled. And the actual handles that they come with are a really nice, comfortable handle as well. I don't know what wood it is. It's certainly not ash. I would imagine it's some sort of, I don't know. It could be some sort of New Zealand wood, I don't know. It doesn't look like beech, it doesn't look like ash. I'll tell you what, the ferrules that's on them, that's on the handles, are the thickest ferrules I've ever seen. The ferrule must be 2.5 millimeters thick. A real high quality ferrule that's on them. And in general, they're a really high quality tool in general. They're excellent. But as I say, the tips, obviously, to buy new tips is cheaper than buying a new tool. You know, to buy one of these tips would be a lot cheaper than going out to buy a new 1/4 inch gouge. That's another idea behind them. You know, it's cheaper, but the main advantage is there's very little flex in the tool. They're very, very stiff, and they really do provide an excellent cut through the wood. I just thought you'd like to see them, guys. Woodcut tools. Now, if you've ever heard of them before or seen them, they really are brilliant, but don't be put off by the fact that they're glued on. These things are on to stay. They'll only come off when you want them to come off. You know, don't be frightened that they're glued on. That bond is not going to move until you want it to move. Right, guys, I'll end this video here, and I don't know what I'm going to do for the next video. I'll leave it a surprise, but I hope you'll join me for it anyway. Right, I'll catch you later, guys. Take care in your workshops, won't you? Bye bye now.